Okay, once again, good afternoon, guys. So we'll have a quick recall of what you have seen last class. So we were looking at two processes mainly. So one on plasma welding and other on magnetically impelled arc butt welding. Okay, so in plasma welding, we were looking at keyhole plasma and conduction mode plasma and mica plasma, right? So we were looking at the role of process parameters on the bead geometry, penetration, and in one of the experiments we also seen an external filler deposition using mica plasma. I think one of the TAs, Mr. Prakash, was showing you that. Okay, and then we also looked at demonstration of MIAB, magnetically impelled arc welding. So it's one of the neat processes for joining pipes and tubes after any circular geometry you can do. As I said, the actual inventor of the process is Paton Welding Institute in Ukraine, Kiev. Unfortunately, things are not really nice there. Anyway, so let's hope that things improve and we can contact our colleagues in Kiev soon. Good. So having said that, we'll start today's class. Today's class we have scheduled some nice experiments, and we are going to look at demonstrations of friction stir welding. Okay, so friction stir welding is one of the solid state welding processes where the interfaces are not molten. There is no liquid formation. So we carry out this welding in solid state. Okay, so this process, the friction stir welding process, is actually invented in the Welding Institute in UK. So the Welding Institute is similar to, like, I just mentioned about Paton Welding Institute in Ukraine. Okay, so there are prominent welding institutes in the world from 1880s, 1870s, where they've been doing research on welding process development. So one of them is the Welding Institute in UK, and it has a lot of connections with India as well. So during British time, as well as post-independence era, so we have been interacting with the Welding Institute extensively. Like Paton Welding Institute, the Welding Institute, they developed this process, the friction stir welding process. It's a neat process, but there are some advantages as well as disadvantages for this process. The primary advantage of this process is the welding is carried out in solid state. So therefore, the problems that are associated with the solidification of the molten pool is not there. Okay, and this process is widely used nowadays to weld aluminium alloys. So aluminium alloys are prone for issues like hot cracking, distortion during fusion welding. So therefore, the aluminium alloy welding is nowadays predominantly carried out by using this solid state welding process, which is friction stir welding. Okay, so the actual process was invented in the Welding Institute in UK in the late 80s. Okay, so I mean they patented it. So next 10-20 years, they were actually protecting that patent. So once the patent got expired, so a lot of research and a lot of development has happened in terms of identifying the role of process parameters on the weldability and weld mechanical properties and so on and so forth. Okay, so in this class we are going to look at demonstration. We will also understand the process parameters, how say the critical parameters such as the tool geometry which we use, the welding tool rotational speed on the penetration or weld geometry, okay, and the velocity, the cross-cut velocity when we do friction stir welding, how does that influence the weld generation, weld bead generation, penetration, so on and so forth. Okay, so we will see first the bead on plate deposition to show how the welding process parameters influence the welding characteristics, and then we'll also demonstrate one butt joint. Okay, so by welding a 3 mm thick aluminium, okay, in butt configuration, and then see how the welding parameters can influence this weld. Okay, and then we'll also see a couple of example tool bead tool geometry. So with a pin type or helical type, and see the effect of tool geometry on the well bead formation. Okay, so this is what we are planning today. So any questions you have in last class or this today's class, what you're going to do, we can ask, and then we'll move on to the demonstration. Yeah, go ahead, guys. If there are no more questions, maybe we can start the demonstration. Okay, good. So we are going to have our TAs lined up here. So they will take it forward along with our technicians, Mr. Rangan and Mr. Rajesh. Hello? Okay, yeah. Yeah, and okay, so Mr. Yogesh is going to give a demonstration. Okay, so our TAs are here, and I'll also be around today, okay, for some time, not then I'll come back for the summary. Okay, good. Are there any questions? If not, we'll continue. Okay, yeah. Yeah, thank you. Whose camera is going to be? So you can look at Jack's camera.
joining lab class in our friction stir processing. So we are there in front of a friction stir welding. The machine which is supplied by RV machine tools. Let's look into our machine first. Right. So to operate this machine, basically we need not to have a welding skill. So we need to be an engineer or we should have some operating skill only. We need it actually. And the machine was designed and manufactured in India, as well as that is the two from Coimbatore by RV Machine Tools. And the machine tonnage capacity, if you want to know, it is 3 ton capacity. 3 ton capacity. And machine has got 6 HP. motor power, 6 horsepower motor power we have on top of it for having a spindle rotation. And in fact, machine was fully automated. It is a computer controlled machine, and which the instrumentation part, if you look into it closely, we have an PLC controller we have, and we have a Windows based operating system. We are controlling all our parameters by means of the Windows operating system, and we have got a machine operates with the human machine interface we have, HMI we have. So let's see how the process can be done with this, our friction stir process equipment. So we are going to have 5 experiments. Initially we are going to do a 4 experiment, that is bead on weld. We are going to do that. So in bead on weld, what we are going to do is, we are going to vary the process parameter. The process parameter for our friction stir welding is going to be a important parameter. One of the important parameter is the rotation per minute, RPM, speed. Then again we need a force, load, axial force we need. Then again the pin depth also we need. So I will show you the friction stir welding. For welding the friction stir processing, we will be using a tool. I will show you the tool also, and the tool will have a tip. So the tip will have a certain millimeter. That also plays a very important role. And then again a horizontal table movement, that also plays a very important role. So these 4 parameters we normally vary with a different process parameter, and you are going to see the effect of the parameters in our friction stir process. So shall we start? Okay, so here we had we requested help from Mr. Yogesh. So he is going to help in operating our friction stir welding equipment. So Mr. Yogesh, shall we start? Okay, right. So right now you are seeing the plate, aluminum plate we have fixed about 100 mm by 200 mm length, and here is the tool we have fixed on into our machine. So now it is ready, and let's move on to our computer side. Okay. So I have a tool. So this is the tool. Normally we will say this is the tool, and the tip what you see is the pin, and this one what normally we say it is a collar or shoulder. This is the one shoulder, and this is the one is the stopper for our inserting our tool into our friction stir welding. So where we will fix it and it will stop here. So then this is the shoulder and the pin. So here the pin, it depends on our plate thickness, the pin length also varies. So for our welding, for our friction stir processing, we are going to use 3 mm thick plate, and we are using a shoulder pin tip. It's going to be a 2.5 mm shoulder tool tip actually. So for that accordingly we have to choose the parameter. The first parameter what we are going to choose is you can come back. So this is our graphical user interface computer screen, which is it is a screen where you can use the what software, sir?
This is Rexroth.
Rexroth we have actually the software what we use for our friction stir processing. Here we are going to choose the RPM as
800.
800 RPM we are going to use, and tool tip is 2.7 millimeter.
Yes.
Tool tip
Plunge depth.
we are going to use is the 2.7 millimeter, and the traverse speed for the pin is 60 mm per minute.
Per minute.
Per minute, and the horizontal traverse speed we are going to move for 1 mm per minute.
Yes.
1 mm per second or minute?
No, the horizontal distance is around 60 millimeter per minute.
Per minute. Okay.
We'll be traveling for almost 100 mm.
100 mm. So we are going to do a Houston stair crossing for 100 mm length. We are going to weld 100 mm length. So, and force what we are going to give is the 7,000 Newton we are going to give as a horizontal, vertical axial pressure we are going to use in our one of the parameter in that. Let's see how Mr. Yogesh is going to program with our friction stir processing welding. Please, sir. So please observe how he is doing. Yes, sir. Yeah, the travel speed is the one. The horizontal plate also we have to do once put the plunge into the material. That is also we need a rate. Okay. So how much fast we have to travel to plunge into the material, but that will not have much effect. Okay. Say right now he is aligning the plate with our tool. So he is going to make a reference point.
Who's asking? Go ahead. Hello?
Now the 60 mm horizontal travel speed.
So that's a welding speed, huh? That's welding speed.
Welding speed.
Okay, so the travel speed, welding speed, horizontal speed are the same.
So 60 mm per minute, that is normally we say 1 mm per second. So right now he made the reference point. Parameter.
So what is important over here is exact load speed, actual axis load speed, which actually apply the compressive forces.
Start this please continue.
So you see that that axis basically rate axis is plunging or the actual plunge depth, and the rate is speed rate axis is the x axis including the rate. So after the picture 12.800, right? The displacement x axis displacement of each rate that determines the total length and the velocity at which it moves. So that's welding speed. What I know is nothing was saying 1 mm per second, not 60 mm per second.
have tilted the angle, tool angle to 3 degree centigrade, 3 degree. Okay, and why do we made this 3 degree? Because it is a design of our shoulder on the pin. So in shoulder you can see the shoulder pin, if we make a flat, so then need not to have a tilt the our spindle head, whereas if we have a little bit of curvature, we have to make the we have to tilt the our shoulder, our spindle head to 3 degree centigrade, because 3 degree angle. So for this we will keep it straight, and for this tool we will keep 3 degree angle. So this is what I want to inform you. And whenever you see the shoulder head plays an important role when doing a friction stir crossing, the plastic region material which comes out, which push backs into our material, that's what it will help us. So let's see our friction stir crossing, how it goes. Shall we start, sir? Okay, so he's going to start. Mr. Rogesh is going to start the friction stir crossing. See that the pin is going inside the friction stir, and it has went for about 2.7 millimeter and plunged into the material, and now it has gone into a now your horizontal table movement has started. We have given a length of 50 mm horizontal. Okay, so now it is retracted from our material. So at the end you can see a hole. The diameter of our tip diameter, we have a hole in that. So in friction stir welding process, that hole will be left out at the end. So this is for our one parameter for our normal friction stir tool. We have done that. Hello, any questions? If there is no questions, shall we move on to our next parameters? Okay. That is called made of a high strength material, maybe H13 or that kind of material we will be using. It is H13 tool steel. Some people will use a carbide tool also, so it depends on that. So it should be a stronger material than our base material, that's all.
very aluminum, you can just simply use M2 or X-plating steel. I mean, these are all conventional tool materials, punch materials we use it for hard working. Okay, or even tool steel we use it for machining. For slightly higher strength material, we may have to go for like for example boron nitride or tungsten carbide based tools, which are all made by powder metallurgy. Those are expensive. Okay, so one of the biggest disadvantages of friction stir welding is the tool wear. Right, so when you are actually doing an friction stir welding of high strength steels, it is not possible. Why? Because of the fact that the tool can heat up, and there is also thermal wear of the tool, so tool may get damaged easily. Hold on, get the yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we are going to second set of experiment. So we are going to change the parameter. So the first experiment what we have done with 800 RPM, we are increasing to 2 times of RPM. So we are changing it to 1600 RPM, and last time we have done about 1 mm per minute, 1 mm per second, that is 60 mm per minute we have done traverse speed, horizontal traverse speed. Now we have chosen the parameters like 1600 RPM, and the horizontal traverse speed is going to be 0.5 mm per second, otherwise 30 mm per minute. So these two we have chosen for our second experiment. Let's see how it can be done, and the same tool we are going to use on the same plate. Also we are going to do friction stir process, surface you can change. Yeah, vertical load we are going to same actually. That's why we have chosen these two parameters. And another two experiments we are planning to do with the different tool geometry. That also we are going to see that. You can come. RPM. The load, the same load we are going to use 700 kilograms. Pin depth is also going to be same like 6.7 millimeter. And now the horizontal speed rate, horizontal table movement is going to be 30 millimeters per minute. That is 0.5 mm per second. material. So once it is plunged into the material, we have given a dwell time for about 30 seconds. So once dwell time is over, the horizontal table movement starts moving. Start movement. You can see the difference of 800 rpm and 1600 rpm. Now travel speed is also very less, 0.5 mm per second. Done. So this is our first experiment and second experiment. You can see the difference of our RPM. How fine when we go for a higher RPM, and at a slower RPM you can see the profile of our friction stir beads. You can see. So this is 800 RPM and this one is 1600 RPM. Okay. Right? So shall we go for a different tool, sir? The same tool.
Welding.
So we'll pick the different tool. Sir? Temperature we have I thought of doing a HAG simulation in our Label experiment that went up to around 380 degrees centigrade. 380 degrees centigrade. At weld zone, you may expect around 500 degrees centigrade. So here you can see here, we have shoulder has come up to this. Then after we have welded our thermocouple. Here you can expect around 400 degrees centigrade of your that's called an thermomechanically heat affected zone. Okay, here we don't say HAG heat affected zone. Here we say normally thermomechanically heat affected zone. This is what the temperature we measured during friction stir welding process. So that is what the heat I want to do the label experiment there. But fortunately my plate was aluminum plate was not good, so I have to take up with the steel plate with the heat affected simulation I have done. Because one of our research scholars wants to do the thermomechanically heat affected zone with tensile. at that temperature what is going to be my strength. So the label was very helpful to him, so he could have a good results from that. Okay, right. Okay, so the next experiment what we are planning to do is the different tool we have. So the tool what you had seen there, the last one, it's the simple plain cylindrical tool. Here we have a conical shape with threaded one. This one we are going to change the tool, and then we will use for another experiment. We will use a different geometry. So let's see how the welding processing parameter changes with this tool. Let's see that. So you please give us little time. So we will fix the tool. If here it's going to be a threaded type, and then it is a conical type. So that is the only change we had from previous tool to this tool. So there it was a straight cylindrical. Now here we have a conical shape, and along with the thread also we have made it. Done. So the parameters what we are going to do will be 1500, and our tool length is going to change from 4.7. Earlier we had used 2.7. Now we are going to use 4.7 millimeter. The tip size is 4.5 millimeter. Okay. Right, let's see, and our plate thickness is 6 millimeter plate. 6 millimeter plate thickness. Let's see the process parameter. Same 0.5 mm per second. Right. So the travel speed is going to be 0.5 mm per second. So we're going to make the reference. No, it is a different aluminium. I think it is a Y-series aluminium. Oh, sorry, 1 series. It is by our research scholar. 30. So our one of our research scholar used this 1 series aluminum plate for use in our CFT welding process. So I have made request to spare 2 plates. So he has given this plate so that I can make use of my lap lab also. Okay.
Reference point. Reference point.
Okay, so we made a reference point 54.2 kilogram.
Small load.
Okay, so small load we are doing. Okay. So now we made it to 0. Reference point. Okay, and already I have discussed with the parameters. So 1600 RPM. Newton, 4.7 mm depth, two tip depth we are going, and the 30 mm per minute traverse speed, horizontal traverse speed, as well as the z-axis traverse speed we are to do 0.5 mm per hello, and the horizontal distance we are going to 50 mm. Okay, right sir. Sir, shall we go there? Okay, so our welding is started with the third experiment is started with a different tool geometry. You can see now tool is plunging inside of the material.
It's touching the plate.
Continue. Almost touching the plate. That's it. Really touching the plate. That's how you will not see this is vibrating. Process is completed. Okay, so you can see because of very high plunging depth, you can see a lot of more crashes have come over. Okay, so this is what the indication of more depth the pin has gone. And of course, we have to optimize one after one only. So it depends on our place material as well as the tool also. Okay. Stop.
After removing the plate, we can see the back side also.
To joining. Okay, you want to do joining also? Okay. So the next experiment what we are going to do is the joining of two plates. That is the real welding process you are going to see for our today's lab class. The parameters what we have done for first experiment, the same parameter we are going to use for our joining of two plates. So the 800 RPM we are going to use spindle speed, and the pin depth we have taken like 2.7 millimeter, and the traverse speed we are going to use 60 mm per minute. And the first experiment we have done for 50 mm length. Now we are going to join these two plates for 100 mm. So it takes little time. Let's see how it goes. And the force what we are going to give here is 700 kilogram or 7000 Newton. Is that fine? Okay. Right. So did you make the reference?
Yes.
Okay. So reference also we have done. Let's go into our welding process, how it goes. Okay. That. So we have joined two aluminum plates and we have aligned at center. You can see the line in between, and the tool also aligned with our middle of our two plate where we are going to join, and we are going to start the welding process. So friction stir welding process. Let's start our please start, sir. Right, so it started. You can see that now tool is going to come down and it started plunging inside the plate, and the horizontal travel speed have started. So as I said, the travel speed is 60 mm per minute. It is 1 mm per second. So you can see the rotation of the spindle. So it rotates in clockwise direction. The right hand side is the advancing side, and the left hand side you can see the traversing side. यहाँ पर connect कर दीजिए. Done, almost done. The tool is getting retracted.
Yeah, so you can summarize, so Mr. Uncle will summarize, then if you have any doubts, I can also explain. So it looks like the last weld what you have done, it's a butt joint. So this is the butt joint. Okay, it's really warm. You see the distortion of the plate already. You see that? So the clamping is not really great. Looks like. So you see, and so the bending distortion is happening. So look at the plate. This. The clamping is not really adequate, but doesn't matter. So Mr. Uncle, can you explain what
sure.
you have done?
Okay. So first we have started with the first friction stir processing with 800 RPM and 60 mm per minute traverse speed and 7,000 Newton force we have started. And then the second experiment we have increased the RPM to 2 times and decreased half of our traverse speed to 0.5 mm per second. So this is the difference. You can see that the 800 RPM you can see the very well coarse kind of structure, you can see that, whereas in our whereas at high RPM you can see very fine the tool effect on our friction stir processing. And
You can see depth of penetration.
depth of penetration is here, you can see here. This indicates the whatever the depth we have given, the pin depth. So the pin height of the pin is 2.5 millimeter and plate thickness is 3 millimeter, and we have given a depth of the plunge depth we have given for about 2.7 millimeter. So if we give 2.8 mm, you can see there is going to be a very in-depth penetration, but here almost it has come to the surface. So that means choice of our the plunge depth is the exactly it matches to our plate. And also at the end we have joined the 2 plates, joined our 2 plates. You can see that the penetration is also exactly, the tool also touches the bottom plate, so it has joined very nicely. So you can see that. So this is what the last joining of 2 plates. Of course at the end we have to do a lot of characterization study with this weldment. So in fact for our third experiment we had used a different geometry of our tool. So we have taken a conical tool with threaded one. So but we don't know the material thickness, and of course we know the tool tip. So that tool tip was about 4.5 millimeter, and we have taken to 4.7 mm plunge depth. But the material thickness is about almost like 6 millimeter, I can say that. So this is what about our the welding friction stir welding processes.
Yeah, you see that excess
so
flow of material.
excess flow of flash at our weld zone actually comes out from the plate.
So this is not really optimized. I think you see that the effect of tool geometry. Right, so compared to this, you see the excessive deformation and the flash has happened. So the penetration is also significant. Yeah, go ahead.
In fact, we have found out the 2.7 millimeter the plunge depth, but before that we have made a trial run. You can see that we have done 2.5 millimeter and 2.6 millimeter and 2.6, 2.5, 2.65 and 2.7. We have done 3 weld trials before starting our lab class. So finally we arrived into 2.7 millimeters. So likewise this feed-on joint will help us to optimize the parameters. So at the end, whatever we have done the friction stir processes, the welding parameters has come out. We could join 2 plates with our correct welding processes. So at nutshell, I can say that whatever the 2 process parameters we have used, it is a good process parameters. The only thing is the varies with the temperatures. That's all.
Okay, yeah. So to summarize, you see that butt joint, how we do it in in aluminum alloys. The important process parameters such as the tool RPM, okay, the pin geometry, the velocity or crosshead movement, the axial load, okay. So and then the plunge depth. So these are the critical parameters we vary, and then we optimize the build geometry by systematically varying these parameters. Okay.
So
Good.
in at the end, what kind of how to evaluate the welding testing of our welding, whether it has come out good or not? We can have a tensile specimen like this. We can take, and you can do for tensile specimen, and you can do a microstructure characterization as well as hardness measurement also. You can do with this for your evaluation purpose.
Okay, good guys. I think we are done with all the experiments. We have one more. Yeah, go ahead. Mr.
Okay. So students, I would like to say thanks to several people, and my special thanks to Mr. Yogesh and Mr. Manish, so who are the students of Dr. Rajit Kauri. So they are doing research in friction stir processes as of now actually. Earlier students have finished and they have gone. And of course I have to say thanks to Professor Murugayan and Mr. Rajesh, Mr. Surya and Mr. Prakash, Mr. Surya Kumar sir and Jat Pravesh sir also. Thanks to them. And of course you are the one without lab class we could not conduct. I have to say special thanks to you also, and I leave it to Dr. Murugayan sir. Please sir.
Okay, guys. Yeah. So as I was detailing during introduction, friction stir welding is a neat process for materials which show significant softening of function of temperature. So therefore, aluminium is ideally suited for this welding process. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask either to the team or to me. Or if not, we'll wind up. We'll see next week resistance welding. Resistance spot welding. Okay, yeah. Guys, yeah, you can ask questions if you have. Yeah, go ahead. The number 3 sample is actually carried out with a different pin geometry. Okay, so if you change the geometry, you'll have to optimize the process parameter again. If you use the same parameter what you used to do with a different pin geometry, it is not ideal, isn't it? You see that flash formation, excessive deformation has happened. Okay, so the shape of the pin what we use, which one have you used for it? So this is for 2, is it?
No, this is not.
We have used the conical for the conical.
This is what we used.
This is the one for.
Yeah, so you see that
Conical.
this is what we used it for 3. The 2 was actually carried out with different shape.
That is
in the machine, sir.
It's in the machine itself.
It is in the machine.
Okay. So you see that the pin is actually it's a tapered pin.
No, this is tapered.
This is tapered pin, and the other one, Surya, can you bring it up?
Sir, this is exactly what this is threaded. Straight threaded.
Yeah, see that this is tapered, which is used for 3, and this is a straight pin with a thread inside.
But go on.
Yeah. So you see that small changes in the geometry of the pins can influence the welding actual weld geometry and weld characteristics significantly. Okay, it's still warm. Okay, so this will show that you cannot simply use the same RPM, same velocities if you change the pin. Now you'll have to optimize again. Why? Because the local plastic deformation can change as function of weld geometry. So therefore, it shows clearly, when you actually use the different pins, the other important process parameters like RPM, okay, the velocity, and the axial load would also be changed in order to arrive at good welding parameters. Yes, it's clear. Yeah, you can see the excessive penetration is there. Yeah, it's not optimized. It's,
over there.
it's not a bead. Huh? It's not a bead. It's flat.
Yes. So, and also this is a combustion pure aluminium, very soft material. Whereas this is a little bit of high strength material.
This is Pradeep's, is it?
No,
This is Pradeep, sir.
Oh, this one.
This is Pradeep.
This is
Here the plunge depth is not optimized.
Yeah.
That is open.
whose material is this?
The
No, fair.
equipment lab.
So this must be,
9
it's aluminum copper alloy. Slightly hard, but it must be solutionized T4. The strength must be equal, almost equal. So this must be a T4.
Janaki Raman sir.
Yeah, must be in a solutionized T4. No, reasonable strength. Okay. Anything else, guys? No. No, you will have a, so at 300 or what, even 400, it may go up to 450 to 500 in the well zone. That is good enough for dynamic recrystallization. So you would see, if you look at the microstructure and the actual, as Mr. Rangan was saying, in the well zone you have like a complete recrystallized microstructure. Okay, and then you see thermomechanically stirred zone. Yeah, so there you expect some remnant unrecrystallized or cold deformed microstructure in the sea. So there will be gradient in the microstructure in terms of grain size, in terms of residual stress, or in terms of precipitate dissolution if you start with say T6 condition. So there could be some heterogeneity in the microstructure also. You may see clearly. Yeah? Is that clear? Yeah. 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 Magnitude would be slightly less here because we don't have solidification induced volume shrinkage, isn't it? Okay, but there would be obviously the peak temperature reached. So when you start from fusion boundary and if you go towards basement, it is changing. So the thermal expansion in homogeneity would always be there. But the solidification induced volume shrinkage is not there. So therefore the magnitude will be slightly less. Compared to suppose if you have done this welding using a gas metal arc or gas tungsten arc. Yeah, but the clamping is what you use the point contact. Okay, so you use like a planar contact. Okay, yeah. So otherwise you may expect this problem. So generally, ideally, what you do, you should also do sort of a tag weld at the edges as well. So otherwise, what happens when you are doing welding? So you may see buckling like this. Okay, if you don't do tag, or sometimes when you weld, it can also open up because of the transversal stress. And here it did not open because the clamping is adequate. But you see these, clearly, this is due to the longitudinal stress. Okay, and the combination of longitudinal transversal stress, and the bend decrease. Yeah.
And also, this is we are doing it for our research purpose. When it comes to an in a real application, the machine will be designed according to the product, so that you will fix the plate in such a way that will hold in such a way that will be done only for specific application. So like that only they will be manufacturing this. That's why.
Yeah, it will be minimum. See the residual stress, what is actually going to develop, it would not change as a function of clamping. Okay, the redistribution would change when you release the clamp, so that would change as a function of clamping. Okay, so even if you use a flat contact, and the magnitude of stress what is here would be always less than in a fusion welding process. Is it clear? The source for the residual stress will not change as a function of clamping. Okay, so the evolution and redistribution would change. So at what temperature releasing the clamp, or the sequence of release. So all these things will influence the end plastic deformation or the release of the stress which is contained inside the material, which is getting generated by the source. See, here also the weld zone is really larger. Okay, the magnitude will be less, but you are also welding aluminium, and if you compare, 1-to-1 aluminium with aluminium fusion weld will always have higher residual stress value. Yeah.
No, and also the friction stir welding process is mainly used for the cylinder joint. That is also a very great advantage, I can say that.
Yeah. So what Sanjan was saying that you can also do dissimilar aluminium alloys. Okay, or you can also attempt to weld a steel with aluminium. With interlayer. If you use any a very hard tool like silicon carbide or boron nitride tools, you can still do that because the intermetallic formation is avoided. So that's what this Sanjan was. Yeah. 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 You mean to do geometry? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. If you are using, steel or any hard material, you cannot use extracting tools. It will just worn out. So you'll have to go for carbide tools like boron nitride, or boron silicon carbide, or boron nitride. Yeah. So or you need to do an high temperature superalloy, coating on top of it. Then you can choose. Yeah. Yeah, it's challenging. Yeah. So what generally people do is, say maybe you can coat steel with say zinc. Okay. Or some interlayers people deposit, and then they can do that. It's challenging. So because one side you have aluminum, which is highly plastic, and the other side is steel. Okay, so it is challenging, but yeah, people do that. Yeah. So any other questions, guys? Okay. If not, we wind up. We'll see you next week. Okay. So Wednesday we'll see the resistance quotient. Okay. So we'll wind up. Okay, guys. Thank you all. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.